At the end of December 2025, something profoundly significant happened at the Go House in California, when Father MICHEL Rodriguue, a priest who claims to have been called by the Virgin Mary as an apostle of the end times, led intense days of teachings that were not just ordinary lectures, but a true spiritual summons presented as the desire of God the Father himself for this decisive time in humanity. There, he explained with unsettling clarity that we are living through a specific moment in the Book of Revelation, a passage in which the invisible battle intensifies, where Saint Michael emerges as an essential defender, and where discerning the divine will become a matter of spiritual survival. According to him, we are not just going through difficult times. We are immersed in a prophetic chapter that demands vigilance, courage, and absolute fidelity. In deepening his explanation, he brought to light a little-remembered detail of the Garabandal apparitions, something that for years remained on the sidelines while everyone focused their attention on the three great announcements of warning, miracle, and chastisement. But this seemingly forgotten point sheds surprising light on the plan of salvation and directly connects the prophetic past to the events that are yet to come. These signs are emerging on the horizon, and as if that weren't enough, following these teachings came the emphasis on a specific date this year, a milestone laden with meaning that, according to him, will have a decisive weight in the unfolding of events that characterize the end times, reinforcing the urgency of spreading this message so that more people awaken before the signs become impossible to ignore. At the beginning of his speech, he highlighted the unique role of France in the prophetic scenario, recalling the messages attributed to Marie-Julie Jahenny and affirming that France, considered the eldest daughter of the Church, would be the initial stage for decisive events. He then declared that we are living through chapter 12 of Revelation, the passage that describes the dragon's persecution of the woman and her offspring, identifying this generation as all the baptized who belong to the Church, children of the Virgin Mary, and associating this persecution with the countless trials faced by those dedicated to the preparation of the so-called Marian refuges, men and women who, according to him, experience unexpected losses, obstacles, and destruction, but who remain sustained by divine providence. When everything seems to crumble, and in this context he emphasized that Saint Michael the Archangel is at the center of the defense of this generation, waging daily battles that many do not even perceive due to a lack of spiritual awareness, insisting on the urgent need to invoke his protection with firm faith. When speaking of Marian apparitions, he highlighted the symbolism of May 13th in Fatima and the frequency with which May becomes the setting for Marian manifestations, uniting Fatima and Garabandal as parts of a single design that includes the conversion of Russia and the spiritual renewal of the world. It was precisely when mentioning Garabandal that he recalled the dialogue that took place on September 26, 1962, during an ecstasy of the main visionary, when they spoke about the upcoming Second Vatican Council, and in the mystical experiences recorded during that period, references emerged that the council and the future miracle would be linked to the conversion of the world and the forgiveness offered to humanity, including Russia, revealing a profound connection between the Marian messages, the events of the Vatican, and the announced future miracle, not as isolated facts, but as cogs in the same divine plan spanning decades, gaining even more significance when one observes that the Second Vatican Council began on October 11, 1962, and ended on December 8, 1965, Marian dates that reinforce the symbolic dimension of the event. During this period, Pope Paul VI proclaimed Mary as Mother of the Church, underlining the inseparable link between ecclesial renewal and Mary's spiritual motherhood. The priest then warned about the danger of spiritual deception, recalling that the enemy can present himself as an angel of light and even simulate sacred appearances, but there will always be imperfections perceptible to those who possess true discernment. Finally, addressing the so-called warning that so many await with fear, he offered a comforting interpretation, affirming that it is not a matter of punishment, but of transformative grace destined to awaken consciences and lead each soul to more fully please the Eternal Father, advising that instead of fear, what should exist is inner preparation, sincere repentance, and the pursuit of reconciliation through confession, for according to him, the time is serious, but mercy is still open to all who decide to respond. And my beloved children, receive these words as one who rests their head in the lap of a mother who silently watches over your every breath. I observe you amidst the tribulations from this time, and my maternal heart leans over your sorrows, your anxieties, and your fears. The world seems to walk along increasingly dark paths, where many allow themselves to be seduced by illusions that promise happiness but deliver only emptiness and confusion. In the face of this, I tell you, be stronger. I do not speak of a strength born of pride or imposition, but of that which springs from the living love of Jesus Christ in your lives. It is this love that sustains when everything seems to crumble. It is this love that illuminates when darkness tries to impose itself. When you feel that the world is lost, remember that no darkness is greater than the light that my Son kindled in the hearts of those who believe. My children, do not allow the noise of the world's anxieties to silence the voice of God within you. Strengthen your faith as one who builds a house upon firm rock. Each gesture of trust, each act of forgiveness, each renunciation of evil is a brick laid in the building of your soul. Faith is not just words. It is a daily decision to remain in God even when you do not understand the ways. I see many of you tired, burdened by inner struggles and external pressures. But I assure you, the spiritual battle is not won by human strength, but by perseverance in grace. When the world turns away from the truth, you are called to remain. When love grows cold, you are called to love even more. When hope seems to disappear, you are called to be a sign of it. Do not be afraid of the times in which you live. Each generation faces its challenges, but also receives from heaven the graces necessary to overcome them. If the world is increasingly lost, it is because many have turned away from the source of life. Therefore, you, my children, be silent witnesses of God's presence. May your homes be havens of prayer. May your hearts be living altars. May your words be seeds of peace. Strengthen your faith not only in moments of tranquility, but above all in the storms. It is in trials that faith matures and becomes firm. Do not be discouraged by falls. Rise with humility. Do not let yourselves be paralyzed by fear of the future. Trust in divine providence. I walk with you, interceding for every step, asking the Lord to clothe you with courage and discernment. My children, fight, yes, but fight with the weapons of heaven. Perseverance, trust, charity, fidelity. Fight to keep the flame of the love of Jesus Christ burning in your lives. Do not allow sin to convince you that you are too weak. In God, there is always a new beginning. In God, there is always mercy. In God, there is always hope. If the world seems to be losing its way, may your faith become even stronger. If many give up, may you remain. If many are turning away, may you draw even closer to the heart of my Son. I enfold you with my maternal care and urge you. Remain in love, remain in faith, remain in the light. The world surrounds you with confusing voices, empty promises, and paths that seem easy but lead to the aridity of the soul. And, in the face of this, I repeat to you with tenderness and firmness. Be stronger, remain firm, do not retreat. The strength I ask of you does not spring from hardness of heart, but from profound trust in the love of Jesus Christ. When you allow Him to truly dwell within you, your steps cease to be guided by fear and begin to be led by faith. Even if storms arise, even if the structures of the world seem to tremble, he who is firmly established in Christ is not brought down. My children, many have allowed faith to become fragile, like a flame exposed to strong winds. But I invite you to protect that flame. Nourish it daily with confidence, with inner vigilance, with a heart that seeks God above all things. Do not let constant distraction rob you of what is essential. The enemy works in noise, in haste, in division. God acts in silence, in perseverance, and in unity. I see families being shaken, homes divided, hearts hardened by pride and unforgiveness. In the face of this, do not give in to discouragement. Become instruments of reconciliation. Be those who take the first step to restore, who choose to love when it would be easier to turn away. True strength lies in remaining in love when everything invites separation. Do not be alarmed by the appearance that evil is growing. Throughout history, there have always been times of darkness, but there have also been souls that shone with even greater intensity. You are called to be that light. Every gesture of kindness, every renunciation of sin, every decision of fidelity is an invisible victory that echoes in heaven. My children, strengthen your faith even in small things. Do not wait for grand signs to believe. Faith matures in constancy, in silent faithfulness, in the daily choice to do good even when no one sees. The world values what is grand in human eyes, but God contemplates what is faithful in secret. When you feel weak, do not condemn yourselves. Acknowledge your fragility and surrender it to God. Humility opens doors that pride can never cross. Many times you think you need to be perfect to please the Lord, but He desires, above all, a sincere heart, willing to start over as many times as necessary. Do not conform to the spiritual coldness that is spreading. Fight against indifference. Fight against the weariness that distances you from prayer. Fight against the temptation to think that nothing can be done. You can, indeed, transform the environment around you when you allow the love of Christ to overflow through you. A single soul truly united to God is capable of radiating peace where there is conflict and hope where there is despair. My children, be vigilant. The world tries to normalize that which wounds the soul and weakens the spirit. Therefore, maintain discernment. Not everything that seems good comes from God. I asked for light, I asked for wisdom, I asked for firmness so that you do not let yourselves be led down paths that lead away from true love. I accompany you with a motherly gaze. I know your most intimate struggles, those that no one else sees. I know the tears shed in silence, the doubts that sometimes visit you, the questions that seem to have no answer. Do not feel abandoned. Even when you do not realize it, heaven works in favor of those who remain faithful. Be strong not only to resist evil, but to do good with joy. Be strong to forgive. Be strong to remain in the truth. Be strong to witness to the faith even when you are misunderstood. Spiritual courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust despite it. If the world is lost for lack of love, then love more. If the world is confused for lack of truth, then live the truth with humility. If the world weakens for lack of faith, then strengthen your faith even more. May each trial become a stepping stone for growth, and not a reason for giving up. I enfold you with my care and remind you, you were not created to live in darkness, but in light. You were not called to despair, but to hope. Remain in the love of Jesus Christ. Remain firm in faith, and no difficult time can destroy what God builds within you. Walk with confidence, my children. Fight with perseverance. And, above all, do not let love be extinguished in your hearts. It is this love that will save your families, strengthen your lives, and keep you standing when everything around seems uncertain. I am with you, and I always lead you closer to the heart of my Son. There is a call echoing from heaven in this time, a call that is not of fear, but of awakening. In the face of the struggles you are going through, the uncertainties that surround the world, and the shadows that try to spread, understand that God is calling you to a deeper surrender, to a more consecrated life, to a firmer love. Understand the divine calling for your lives. You were not created by chance, nor do you walk without direction. Each of you was thought of, loved, and chosen for a purpose that transcends the limitations of this world. The Lord desires to dwell in your hearts and also in your homes. Therefore I say to you, consecrate your houses, consecrate your families, consecrate your paths to the love of Jesus Christ. When a home is surrendered to God, it becomes a refuge. The walls cease to be merely physical shelter and become a space of grace. The atmosphere changes when there is sincere prayer, when there is forgiveness, when there is respect and charity among those who live there. It is not the absence of problems that protects a family, but the living presence of God at its center. My children, we are in a time when many homes are weakening because they have strayed from the source of peace. Constant distraction, spiritual coldness, lack of dialogue and love have opened small breaches that, over time, become deep wounds. I ask you, close these breaches with faith, with vigilance, with a firm decision to put God above all else. Consecrating the home is not merely an outward gesture. It is an inner choice. It is deciding that in that space there will be no room for cultivated hatred, for nurtured division, for prolonged indifference. It is deciding that every word spoken within the home will be measured by charity. It is choosing that, even in difficulties, trust in God will not be abandoned. Do not fear evil when your home is founded on the rock of faith. Evil weakens before a heart that trusts. Evil retreats when it finds a family united in prayer and love. It is not human strength that guarantees protection, but fidelity to God that creates an invisible shield around those who surrender to Him. My children, I have heard the call that invites you to sincere conversion. Perhaps it is time to reorganize priorities, to abandon habits that distance you from the light, to restore broken relationships within your own homes. Heaven does not ask for immediate perfection, but for true decision. Every small step toward God transforms the spiritual atmosphere of the home where you live. I invite you to make your homes places of hope. May there be space for listening, for welcoming, for patience. May children learn by example, and may adults remember that they are responsible for keeping the flame of faith burning. When a family decides to walk with God, it becomes a sign for others, even without realizing it. Understand, my children, this is a time of choice. The world may be in turmoil, it may be lost in confusion, but you are called to remain steadfast. If each family responds to the divine call, the transformation will begin silently, from the inside out. Do not wait for the world to change before you change. Begin within your own homes. I walk with you. I intercede for every home, for every afflicted mother, for every worried father, for every child who feels distant. Surrender your homes to me, surrender your worries to me, and I will present them to the heart of my Son. May no evil find a place where there is living faith, persevering love, and trust in divine providence. I do not speak to you to cause anxiety, but to awaken in you the awareness that heaven calls you to a fuller surrender. There is a special grace reserved for those who decide to consecrate their lives and their homes to God with sincerity. Understand, my children, that the divine call is not just for some, but for all. Every father, every mother, every child, every grandparent, every young person is invited to transform their own home into a small sanctuary. When I say that you consecrate your homes, I ask that you make them a space where the love of Jesus Christ is the basis of every decision. May He be remembered in conversations, honored in actions, sought in difficulties. A consecrated home is not a place without problems, but it is a place where problems do not destroy unity. It is a space where, even in the midst of storms, there is the certainty that God is present. When faith occupies the center of the home, words become more careful, gestures more patient, and glances more understanding. Small daily changes create an invisible protection that the world cannot comprehend. My children, often evil does not enter in an obvious way. It approaches in small concessions, in spiritual negligence, in prolonged indifference. Therefore, I ask you for loving vigilance. Observe what nourishes your thoughts, what influences your decisions, what occupies the time of your families. Everything that distances you from the light weakens the home environment. Everything that draws you closer to God strengthens and purifies. To consecrate is to surrender with trust. It is to say in the depths of your heart, Lord, this house is yours. This family is yours. Our life belongs to you. When this surrender is sincere, heaven responds with constant help. There are battles you do not see, but which are faced when there is true faith. There are dangers that are silently averted when a family decides to live under divine protection. Do not think you are too small to make a difference. A single consecrated home can radiate peace to neighbors, friends, and relatives. Transformation begins within each heart and expands like light in the darkness. If many homes choose the path of faith, the world, though wounded, will find hope. My children, restore sincere dialogue within your homes. Forgive before resentment takes deep root. Seek moments of unity, silence, and reflection. Let there be space to give thanks, to recognize blessings, to remember that God sustains every breath. Gratitude is a bulwark against discouragement. We are in a time when faith needs to be lived with courage. Do not be ashamed to demonstrate your trust in God. Do not hide your hope. When a home stands firmly in faith, it becomes as firm as a rock before the turbulent waves of the world. If there are old conflicts in your home, begin the reconstruction today. If there is spiritual coldness, rekindle the flame with determination. If there is fear, surrender it to the Lord. Evil tries to divide, but God unites. Evil tries to weaken, but God strengthens. Evil tries to spread insecurity, but God offers peace. I am with you, my children. My maternal heart rejoices when a family decides to walk with God. Do not let yourselves be paralyzed by difficulties. Every step taken towards heaven is a step that closes doors to evil. Every gesture of sincere love builds a spiritual fortress around you. Listen to the divine call with seriousness and serenity. This is not a time for distraction. It is a time for inner firmness. Consecrate your homes with conviction. Renew this commitment daily, and you will see that, even amidst the uncertainties of the world, your home will remain sustained by the peace that comes from God. My beloved children, draw near to me and listen serenely to what I place in your hearts. I do not speak to you to spread fear, but to awaken vigilance and confidence. When a mother warns her children, it is because she wishes to protect them, not frighten them. I also speak to you in this way. I have warned you that there are evils that haunt human life, evils that are born from separation from God, from spiritual coldness, from the loss of true love. This is the most terrible evil, that which tries to extinguish the light of faith within you, that tries to weaken your hope and divide your families. It is not only an external evil, but an internal, silent one, which infiltrates when the soul is careless. Therefore, I insistently tell you, pray, my children. Pray with a sincere heart, not just with repeated words, but with true surrender. Prayer is an invisible shield. Prayer strengthens what the world tries to weaken. When you place yourselves before God with humility, spiritual barriers are created that evil cannot cross. If I have revealed to you that there are dangers, it is because I also assure you that there is abundant protection for those who remain steadfast. The love of Jesus Christ is stronger than any threat. No evil can prevail where there is living faith, where there is persevering trust, where there is a heart that refuses to abandon God. My children, do not let yourselves be overcome by anxiety when you hear about difficult times. Fear paralyzes, but faith strengthens. Evil grows where it finds disunity, discouragement, and indifference. Therefore, I insist, remain united, take care of your homes, watch over your thoughts and choices. What you nourish within yourselves determines the strength with which you face the invisible battles. Pray for yourselves, pray for your families, pray for those who are far from God. Often the evil that threatens a life begins with a lack of prayer, spiritual negligence, the absence of dialogue with the Lord. Constant prayer does not eliminate every difficulty, but it sustains the soul to traverse it without getting lost. I reveal to you the gravity of the time so that you do not sleep spiritually. It is not a time for carelessness. It is a time for loving vigilance. It is time to strengthen faith, to purify intentions, to abandon habits that weaken the soul. Every decision to convert is a door closed to evil. My children, when you feel something weighing on your lives, when you perceive restlessness or division, do not react with despair. Turn immediately to God. Call upon the name of my Son with confidence. Remember that you are not alone. Heaven accompanies every step of those who remain faithful. Evil may try to approach, but it does not have absolute power. He who takes refuge in God finds strength. He who perseveres in faith finds protection. He who prays sincerely finds peace, even in the midst of storms. I, as a mother, urge you, do not wait for difficulties to worsen before seeking God. Begin today. Pray today. Strengthen yourselves today. Transform your homes into environments of faith and trust. May each dawn be given to the Lord, and each night end with gratitude. If I have spoken to you of a terrible evil, it is because I want you to be prepared, not terrified. Spiritual preparation is light. Trust in God is a shield. Persevering love is a powerful weapon against any darkness. Remain steadfast, my children. Pray without ceasing. Trust without wavering. And no evil will befall you without the grace of God sustaining you and leading you safely. I intercede for each one of you, and I always lead you to the safe refuge that is the heart of my Son. The most dangerous evil is not only that which manifests itself in visible events, but that which slowly hardens the heart, cools love, separates families, and weakens trust in God. It approaches when prayer becomes rare, when forgiveness is delayed, when pride is nurtured. Therefore, I tell you with maternal insistence, pray, my children, pray with perseverance. Prayer is not weakness, it is strength. When you kneel with humility, you rise with spiritual power. When you seek God in the silence of your room, a light is kindled that no darkness can extinguish. The love of Jesus Christ is a safe refuge. In Him there is no deceit, no abandonment, no definitive defeat. My children, understand that heaven never reveals anything without also offering the means of protection. If I have spoken to you of difficult times, it is because I also give you the weapons of faith. Sincere trust creates an invisible protection around you. Perseverance in the spiritual life closes doors that evil tries to open. Charity lived daily purifies the atmosphere of the home.